Galveston since we live in Texas. And this particular trip, it was my mom, my brother, my sister, my mom's friend, her 2 kids. So we all piled into the car and drove to Galveston. Well, once we get probably about halfway there, I guess someone realized they didn't bring a bathing suit. So we went to Kmart, went inside, shopped around for some bathing suits or whatever. And while we were in Kmart, I was, being a kid, exploring or whatever. I was kind of bored and because I didn't have anything to do. So while we were in the bathing suit section, and whoever was trying on bathing suits, I found this umbrella. So I picked up the umbrella mostly because it was just not where it was supposed to be. So I picked it up, opened it, started like twirling it around, having a jolly old time. And my mom's friend is really superstitious, and I didn't know this at the time, but when she saw me open the umbrella, she like freaked out. She was like, "Lauren, close the umbrella." And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "It's bad luck." And I'm like, "It's just an umbrella." And she's like, "No, it's bad luck, close it." So, she was older than me, it kind of freaked me out with her like wide eyes or whatever, and her, like freaked out tone. So I was like, okay, so I closed it, didn't think anything of it. We got to the hotel, checked in, everything's good. The next day, we rented bikes, and they were like the bucket seat bikes in the front and the back, and then everyone had to like pedal for it to go. And so we're riding around, and my mom sees this surf shop that she wants to go into. So we pull into the parking lot, and she gets out with her friend, and they go inside, and us kids are just hanging out watching the bike. Well, when they come out of the store, my sister, decides it's a good idea that we back up so that when they get on the bike, we can just, go straight. So we start to back up, and her foot, she's wearing like flip-flops, her toe gets like stuck in the pedal, and it's like backing up. So she starts freaking out, like screaming, and I'm in the back seat like, oh my God, what's going on? So my mom and her friend run over, and they try to like pull her foot out, and she's like crying even more. And this random guy shows up out of nowhere. He's like, "Stop, you're gonna, rip her toe off." And I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. So he like makes the bike go forward so that her foot can be released. He like saves the day. And we thank him. We go about our day. She's fine. Her foot obviously hurts or whatever, but she can still like have fun. So the next day, we ended up leaving because it was just like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday trip. So the next day, we're in the hotel, packing, taking showers, getting ready to go. And my mom was in the shower. She got out. She was like, "Hey, Lauren, it's your turn." So I go in there, and I close the door, and I see the light fixture like hanging from like wires, just like hanging in the middle of the room. And I'm like, where did this come from? Like, there's no way that my mom saw this and like let me come in here. So it must have like happened after she left. Well, instead of calling my mom, who was right outside the door, like, because there was a mirror there, she like put on her makeup. Instead of calling her and saying like, "Hey mom, what's this?" I just had to call my older sister. I was like, "Hey Brittany, come here, look at this." So she comes in, I close the door, I said, "Look." And she like looks down. And she's like, "What am I looking at?" And I was like, No, look. And I point again. And she's like, "I don't see anything, Lauren. What is it?" And so at this point I got mad because she kind of got like a little lippy with me, I guess. And so I pulled her shoulders and pulled her to me. And at the same time, I lifted her neck up so that she could see up, where I was pointing. And I said, "Look." And right when I said "look," the light fell. Like it fell. The rest of it, I guess it was just hanging on by a little bit of wire. Like it fell, started sparking, the light was flashing on and off, and she's screaming. And so after it finished, it was obviously made a loud noise. So afterwards, my mom's like banging on the door, and she's like, "What's wrong?" So we open the door, my sister comes out crying, and so my mom looks at me and she's like, "What happened?" I was like, "Well, that light just kind of fell." And she's like, "Oh my God, oh my goodness, And she starts freaking out, and so my sister proceeds to tell the story that I just told. But instead of saying like I pulled her out of the way and then it fell, she said Lauren saw the light falling, so she pulled me out of the way. And I was like, "But no, that's not what happened." I was like, "That's not exactly true." So I'm sitting there, and no one wanted to listen to me and my version of the story. I guess my sister's was more entertaining. So she claims that I saved her life, and still to this day, if you ask her, she says I saved her life. So, my mom talked to the manager and everything, and I don't know what happened, but, that doesn't really matter. So we end up leaving, we get in the car. On the drive back, I'm sitting there, like, watching the scenery go by, and I think back to the first day when we were driving and we went to Kmart and I opened that umbrella, and I thought to myself, oh my God, I did this to my sister. Because I didn't believe the superstition about opening an umbrella indoors, like I pushed my bad luck onto my sister, and I felt so bad for like ever. But you know, I guess the moral of the story is don't open umbrellas indoors, whether you believe in the superstition or not. But that's it for today's story. So don't forget to like my shit, comment,